He later did convert to Islam. And this stage, he says, is his encounter with the letter U in the word Sufi. Maybe U for understanding or the initial search.
Makes sense, following the S.
And then his current stage, the encounter with the letter I in the word Sufi, came much later, around 1977. He adopted a new name, a new destiny, became a traveling photographer, a wandering dervish at heart. He even fostered 2 orphans. And this is when he realized he was falling in love at a most unexpected time, rethinking everything: spirituality, life, family, death, faith, love. He didn't want to die anymore.
A complete turnaround.
But he admits this final I stage was much more difficult because it came when he thought he was already spiritually mature. It challenged him even more deeply.
So the journey never really ends.
Exactly. So when Aziz suggests they travel the world together, Ella cries. She feels overwhelmed, scared, says she's just a housewife, a mother of 3, not some poet.
Understandable fear.
But Aziz's response is just perfect for the theme. We're all what we are, and we're all subject to change.
Yeah.
It's not about becoming someone totally new, but embracing that capacity for constant evolution that's within us. Change is a journey, not a destination.
That's beautifully put. Okay, so we've explored Ella's modern awakening. Now, let's dive into that ancient wisdom that parallels her story.
Let's do it.
We need to journey back to the 13th century, a time that was chaotic, but also incredibly vibrant creatively.
Right, Baghdad and Konya. You've got Mongol armies, crusaders, warring religious factions. A lot going on.
But amidst all that, the Sultan, Aladdin Kikubad, had this dream to build Konya into a haven for poets, artisans, philosophers.
A center of culture and thought. And in this setting lived Jalal ad-Din Rumi, known as Maulana, our master.
A big deal then.
Huge. A distinguished Islamic scholar, thousands of disciples, a preacher, a jurist, a teacher steeped in theology, Sharia law.
Very established, very respected.
Absolutely. And the source says he possessed the science of divine intuition, this innate, deep understanding that went beyond just book learning.
But there's always a but.
Exactly. Despite all his success, his status, he felt inwardly dissatisfied. An emptiness, a yearning for something more profound.
Even the greatest scholars feel that, I suppose. And that yearning sets the stage for, well, a seismic shift. 1244, the arrival of Shams of Tabriz.
Shams, the wandering dervish. Unconventional ways and heretical proclamations. That's how he's described.
Sounds like trouble for the establishment.
He definitely shook things up. He believed he had a special mission to enlighten an enlightened person, meaning Rumi.
Wow, quite the goal.
And he was unusual. He apparently never had dreams in the normal sense. People called his childhood visions dreams, so he grew to dislike the word.
Interesting.
And he had such a distrust of words sometimes that he'd go days without speaking. Just a radical figure.
So their meeting must have been explosive.
Profound. It altered both their lives, famously likened to the union of 2 oceans.
Wow.
And Rumi's transformation wasn't just, a career change. It was a fundamental reorientation from rigid rules to this heart-centered path of love.
He went from being a mainstream cleric
To a committed mystic, passionate poet, advocate of love, and originator of the ecstatic dance of the whirling dervishes, breaking free of convention entirely.
And that came directly from Shams.
Shams was the catalyst. He advocated for an inner-oriented jihad, the struggle against the ego, the nafs, as opposed to the outer-oriented jihad, which was often seen as physical war.
The inner battle. That's central to Sufism.
Absolutely foundational.
And what really defines Shams's wisdom, according to the novel, are these 40 rules of the religion of love.
Yes, these are presented as universal, dependable, and invariable as the laws of nature. And you attain them through love and love only.
Some of the examples really stick with you, like the path to the truth is a labor of the heart, not of the head.
That's a big one. Prioritizing intuition, feeling, over just logic.
Or this one, try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you.
Speaks to that deep surrender, accepting flux. And then there's the reminder that life is a temporary loan and this world is nothing but a sketchy imitation of reality.
So focus on the eternal, not the temporary, and avoid extremes.
Right. In this life, stay away from all kinds of extremities. Moderation is key, and I love this one. When a true lover of God goes into a tavern, the tavern becomes his chamber of prayer.
But when a wine-bibber goes into the same chamber, it becomes his tavern.
Exactly. In everything we do, it is our hearts that make the difference, not our outer appearances. It's all about intention, isn't it?
It really is. True spirituality isn't about where you are, but the state of your heart.
Beautifully put.
And he also includes really practical stuff like do no harm, Practice compassion, and do not gossip behind anyone's back. Just basic human decency, elevated.
Grounded wisdom. Then there's Rule 37. God is a meticulous clockmaker. So precise is his order that everything on earth happens in its own time.
For each, there is a time to love and a time to die. It sounds like a call to trust the timing of life.
A profound call to surrender to life's rhythms, yeah.
Hmm.
Trusting that everything, love, loss, has its moment. Patience and acceptance.
And Rule 39 feels connected to that and to the idea of continuity. While the parts change, the whole always remains the same.
Right. For every thief who departs this world, a new one is born. For every Sufi who dies, another is born somewhere.
So individuals pass, but the archetypes, the essence persists.
Exactly. In this way, not only does nothing remain the same, but also nothing ever really changes. It's this cyclical view. Suggests a continuum of purpose, which can be comforting.
And Shams didn't just preach this stuff, did he? He lived it, often through quite radical actions.
Oh, absolutely. Challenging norms left and right. Think about when he defended that known prostitute found in the mosque dressed as a man.
Right, from the mob led by Baybars.
He asked the mob, "Do you really despise this woman, or do you in fact desire her?" Talk about cutting straight to the hypocrisy.
Oh.
And he criticizes the Orthodox scholars who are always on the lookout for the mistakes of others. His point is clear. Sufis do not judge other people on how they look or who they are.
They use the third eye.
When a Sufi stares at someone, he keeps both eyes closed and instead opens a third eye, the eye that sees the inner realm. It's a call for radical empathy looking beyond the surface.
And he applies these rules in specific encounters, too, like with the innkeeper.
Yeah, the innkeeper who lost his pregnant wife to the Mongols and became hardened called himself a wolf.
Believing he had to restore justice because God had forgotten them.
Right. And Shams tells him God is full of love and compassion and resides inside each and every one of us. He acknowledges the man's pain, saying, "I can see that you've become a wolf indeed."
But he corrects him.
But you are wrong in calling what you are doing justice. It's a lesson in distinguishing true compassion from bitter vengeance.
And his compassion extended to the truly outcast, like Hassan the leper.
Someone who felt invisible, worse than a criminal.